So it's 10 p.m. and I'm here at Lincoln Square to watch The Odyssey in
IMAX 70mm.
I'm one of the few people lucky enough to even get tickets for this specific screening. It's only being played in 25 US locations and tickets are sold out for the next 3 weeks. In fact, I need to sacrifice my neck for this because the only ticket available was the first row. And I never buy first row. That's how much control IMAX has over me. This 4-letter word is taken over Hollywood, and its prominence just keeps getting bigger. I can't even tell you why I want to watch this movie in IMAX, I just know that I need to. But this is all a contradiction to what the news is telling us. This is all an anomaly in an economy where people are reportedly pulling back on discretionary spending, unless it's IMAX. Why is that? I'm visiting IMAX's headquarters to uncover the tech behind the IMAX viewing experience, its relationship with Hollywood directors like Christopher Nolan, and how IMAX rose to the top and became so fucking cool. So before I toured IMAX's headquarters, first I needed to know, what even is IMAX? Which could be interpreted philosophically.
Our brand kind of stands for this kind of quality metric that you don't get with a lot of other things. It kind of means like best of in a way, certainly for watching movies at a minimum.
But I was looking for more of a straightforward answer. Is it a production company? Is it a tech company? Is it a movie theater?
I think we're all of the above, actually. I think we're a little bit of everything. We make cameras, we build and design theaters, we have a home format, we work directly with filmmakers to make unique versions of movies that no one else has. We're not just one of those things, we're actually a lot.
That wasn't as straightforward as I expected, but it did point me in the right direction. IMAX's quality philosophy, which all stems from its tech. And so I think at this point, a better question is, what is the tech behind the IMAX experience? We'll start where it all ends for IMAX, on its big-ass screens.
This is the largest screen in the country, so this is an 80-foot wide screen. This is our engineering test lab, so we use this for developing new technology, for calibrating our systems, for keeping our brightness, our color, our focus, and our audio system all up to the standards that our customers are expecting and our studios are expecting.
My original thought about IMAX is, it's just a big-ass screen, but it goes beyond that. Just as important as what the audience sees is what it hears.
For us, it's really about combining the audio with the visual into the best possible experience. It's not to say that there's not other systems that can give people an enjoyable experience, but nobody will give them the IMAX experience. IMAX sound really comes in 2 main flavors. There's IMAX 5, IMAX 12. IMAX 5 is like your standard left, right, center, and then rear satellite speakers. IMAX 12 adds in side speakers, so you'll see a side speaker here on the wall and a side speaker there, and then 4 overhead speakers. So we can, with either 5 or 12 speakers, simulate sounds from coming all around you. So if we want to simulate a plane flying around your head or a bird flying around your head, there's this phenomenon called persistence. If I were to put half the sound in the back speaker and half the sound in the front speaker, your brain would make it think like it's coming from a point in between the two. And we can play with that to just rotate sound objects around the field.
This IMAX theater layout, its screen size, and its tech is one of the competitive advantages that IMAX has, because it means that they're able to control the quality across all its locations.
We're calibrating the system so you have the same experience here as you have, in New York City, as you have anywhere else in the world.
A big part of their quality control is digital media remastering, or DMR. This is how they do noise and grain reduction, but more importantly, ensures that the images don't lose quality as they get blown up for larger screens. It's also how movies like Top Gun are able to be re-released for IMAX. The other part to DMR is sound. Non-IMAX screens use different brands of stereos, each with their own quirks, which means your sound mix won't sound the same theater to theater. Since IMAX uses its own stereos for its screens, they know the environment in which these tracks will be played. So, they formed an in-house department to create their own unique sound mix.
And we do the same thing from the projector side as well. So that's really what we're about, is taking that experience and pushing it as close to 100% as possible.
And that whole experience relies on its projectors.
This is the inside of one of our digital projectors. So we've opened it up and Swiss cheesed it so that you can see how we're combining the red, the green, and the blue light to create a color image inside of a projector. So inside of this, there's this little device that's called a DMD, digital micromirror device. This is what's forming your image in a digital projector. And what's unique about this is how we're combining the red, the green, and the blue light in an IMAX projector. Light comes from here, goes up off of a system of mirrors. It does a couple of bounces, and then it comes out of our projection lenses. But overall, the distance from where the image is being formed to the lens is about 1.5 times my arm width. In a typical non-IMAX projector, it's about this long. And why that's important is because that really, really long path length lets us control stray light and create better black levels with our projectors than you can with other projectors.
And what does that do for the average viewer?
It gives you a more immersive experience. So when you're in the theater, the light that you're seeing with your eyeballs is the light of the picture, not scattered light hitting the screen, hitting the side wall, so it more immerses you. So it's like seeing it in the darkest environment that you possibly can. And this is an innovation that came out of this building, and this particular object and the mirror system that goes on top of it is something that we won a technical Oscar for, I think 2 years ago now.
IMAX currently has 4 types of projectors: the IMAX Digital Xenon, the Cola, the GT Laser, which are all digital projectors, and then of course the IMAX 70mm, which is its film projector. They all have different specs, but the main one to consider is which aspect ratios they project in. My buddy Ryan made a great video that breaks down aspect ratios, but since we can't use it, here's my best Ryan Coogler impression. And yes, that's the exact same whiteboard he used. This is Film Formats 101. Aspect ratio. These red lines are every other theater. Not good. You don't get the immersive experience. And blue is good, and this is IMAX 190. More space, more immersive. Perforations, little dots right here. What else? IMAX said, let's go a 143. These very limited in worldwide. That's kind of it. And that's what film formats are. Okay, that wasn't very helpful, but here's a better explanation using the Odyssey website. Most traditional movies use a 239 format, which looks like this. The IMAX Digital Xenon and Cola project at a 190 aspect ratio, which looks like this. You get more image on the top and bottom of the screen. If you're like me and want even more image, well then IMAX has its 1:3 ratio, using its GT laser projector and its 70mm film projector. But that's just the projectors. All that starts with the IMAX film cameras.
We call this our MSM camera. So these have been the workhorse of IMAX for the last number of years. These have shot, again, millions and millions of feet of film.
IMAX cameras are all film cameras. So why do they look so much better than other film?
The thing that IMAX did is we took the film and we run it horizontally, so both in our camera and our projectors. So instead of this being the width of the image, our width of our image is now that way. And the frame that you see here just natively gives us about a 1.43 aspect ratio.
Hey guys, it's me, Macy. I was on the IMAX shoot too because I was filming something else in LA. Here is a piece of real IMAX film that I took from their headquarters with permission. I'm gonna show you how they use it that's so different that makes IMAX pictures so good. This is normal 35mm movie film. So many classic movies are filmed on this. It works perfectly until you blow something up on an IMAX-sized screen, which is why IMAX doesn't use it. This is 70mm film. You're getting to a larger picture size. You're getting like twice as much definition like in the width, but it's still not big enough for IMAX. So what they did is they took regular 70mm film. This is standard film, anyone can buy it. They just turned it sideways. And now this is how IMAX cameras use the film, running horizontally. So you can see the difference between the regular 35 film and how IMAX uses the 70 film is so much larger, which is how they're able to have such a high definition image on such huge screens. You could just never blow this up so large and have it look good. And that's Movie Film with Macy. Back to Uber's video.
What that really allows you to do is in our immersive theater geometries where we go wall to wall, floor to ceiling, you literally feel like you're looking at a building when you're looking at something that tall. So one of the most eye-opening experiences that I've seen in the many IMAX 70mm experiences, but like that opening sequence of The Dark Knight, when you open up in that wide city shot, like you feel like you're just flying over top of the city. And that's really one of the most synonymous things with IMAX, is that we blow the image up to such a massive size, but our film format is capable of creating such fine detail that it feels like you're there. The principles of an IMAX camera are the same as any other film camera and technically any other digital camera. There's just the little nuances that you have to be careful with working with such a large format of film. So it's really not a gigantic leap if you're already in the business and you're already used to working on it. I could probably teach you guys in an afternoon how to run one of these.
You teach me how to do it.
Deal. There's the new one, and then we also have what we call a Mark IV camera. So it's all very compact, but inside of here, the film again runs through, comes through, it builds up in loops here, and then it runs through here. So every 24 times a second, actually 48 times a second, up to the film moves and it stops right here, and then the image from the lens gets captured back through here. This is one of the most impressive pieces of technology I've ever worked on in my engineering career. How precise it needs to be. We basically talk about this as a Swiss watch on steroids. We're literally taking a picture 24 times a second, so it's bang, 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 bang.
It's a lot of pictures.
The film cameras have become such a core part of IMAX's identity that they made them even better.
So the newest one is the Keeley. That's the one that's built with a carbon fiber frame. It's very distinctive to be able to tell. It's like an all black camera. It takes everything that worked well out of this, being the movement.
Okay.
And we did do some refinements on it, but largely that's the same function, but then we've wrapped that all in something that's more modern. So there's an LCD screen on the side of it that you can interact with. It feels more like a digital camera, but it adds in a lot of newer modern features that we're expecting to unlock as the platform evolves. Like, this has been an amazing camera and arguably the best camera in the world, and this was basically designed in like the 1990s.
And there's a reason why after almost 30 years, now was the time for an upgrade. Because the people using IMAX's tech are just as important as the tech itself.
Which were the ones that Christopher Nolan used for the Odyssey? All these.
Yeah. He basically had all of our cameras.
Last year, IMAX CEO Rich Gelfand said Christopher Nolan forced them to rethink the film camera side of their business. Up until this year, no movie had ever been filmed entirely on IMAX cameras. If you look at the different IMAX posters, they all have different verbiage. First, you have experience with IMAX, which means that a studio brought the final film to IMAX to project in its theaters. But aside from going through its DMR process, no consideration of IMAX was made during the filming of the movie. Next, you have film for IMAX, which means aspect ratios were considered when filming the movie, but they were shot using IMAX-approved digital cameras. The next iteration is shot with IMAX film camera, which means there are parts of the movie that have been shot with IMAX film cameras, but most of the movie is still shot with digital cameras. And then finally, the newest edition, shot entirely with IMAX film cameras. It comes roughly 20 years after The Dark Knight, which was the first time IMAX cameras were used on the set of a major Hollywood film. And there's a reason it took so long. The weight, sound, and difficult workflow of a film camera made the trade-off for a higher quality image debatable. So, IMAX got to work.
One of the things I've often said is, like, as an engineer, we can build anything, but we're not filmmakers. We don't know the trials and tribulations that I go through on set. So we definitely worked hand in hand with multiple filmmakers. Obviously, the most critical one would have been our number one customer. So we generated a lot of feedback through them and worked very closely with this team on developing that, as well as the sound blip that we generated.
Who's the number one customer?
I'll let you guess. So it was a bit of a catch-22. It was like, don't change anything, but make it better. So we wanted to make it smaller, we wanted to make it lighter, we wanted to make it quieter. So as a platform with the new Keeley platform, we've achieved that with some of our configurations. If they want to be Steadicam, form factor and weight are probably more important than sound. If they want the quietest camera, it's a three-legged stool, so you got to give something up. So if you want the quietest camera, the physics dictates that you have to add a little bit of size and a little bit of weight, and this is something that we've created as a platform. So I would say that the camera is more than just an individual component. It's a system of multiple components, and then depending on what you want to do with it, we can configure it in multiple ways.
It was important for IMAX to get this right because it views Hollywood partnerships as a crucial part of its business.
Is the hope that you get more directors that are like, I want to film this entire movie on IMAX?
Absolutely, yeah. I would say the hope, first and foremost, would be in film. I mean, digital is great, but film just gives you a slightly different look that you're just never going to get anywhere else.
Do you think I could afford to film a 15-minute YouTube video on one of these IMAX cameras?
It depends on your negotiation skills and what you can work out with our camera department. The film itself and the processing itself does add some cost to it, and then the cameras, we do obviously rent the cameras, and we don't sell the cameras to anybody.
Can I borrow this camera?
If you ask nicely, maybe.
Hell yeah.
But the relationship with Hollywood studios and filmmakers goes beyond just handing them IMAX cameras. In fact, it all starts from a seat in an IMAX theater.
Who else is sat here?
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler?
So basically what we do is we have filmmakers come to IMAX all the time, and they're coming here to actually master their movies in our format. But for our Film for IMAX movies, that's our special program where we have more movies like that, like Mandalorian is out now, and many, many others. Those are ones where the filmmakers come here to us before they start shooting the movie. And they sit right where you're sitting, and see, it's an important seat. And we talk to them, and actually we're going to give them kind of the same demo to you that we give them. So it's an idea to help them understand what we do here at IMAX and how they can best optimize the movie for our format and our audiences.
Now, what if I wanted to shoot a YouTube video for IMAX?
Well, we're not going to allow that. We've got theaters all over the world, which means we send those camera tests for them to look at wherever they are. And it really means that they're making important creative decisions about what they're seeing based on seeing it in IMAX. So in some cases, they may change the lenses they're using because they look at a certain lens and they go, you know what, that's a little too this or too that, let's try a different lens. Or sometimes they'll shoot different lenses and they'll go, that lens is the look I'm after. So these are like pretty important creative decisions they make in IMAX.
Aside from the test shots and the demo, the filmmakers return to an IMAX theater near them to quality control the final product.
We were talking about every IMAX film that you see out there is approved by the filmmakers. They approve it in each technology, in each screen size. So if we're releasing a 143 movie, that means we're also doing a 190 movie. They will look at it next door. They'll make sure everything looks good on our Laser GT system. They'll look at it on Laser Cola, and then they'll pop over here and look at it on Xenon to make sure that the contrast and black levels and everything are as expected.
IMAX has stayed successful in the struggling movie industry because of the tech and Hollywood relationships they've built. IMAX doesn't own any theaters and instead leases its tech to exhibitors like AMC. Exhibitors can pay an upfront investment in an IMAX system and then just pay for ongoing fees for maintenance and services. Or it can be a joint revenue sharing arrangement, and it's a thriving business. As of June 2026, IMAX has over 1,876 theaters worldwide.
You know, we're in a growth stage for sure, right? And we've been growing not just over the last couple of years, we've been growing probably since 2010. And so we'll continue to grow. Last year we had 150 signings, which meant we're signing 150 deals for theaters to open. And you know, the budget's similar this year where we'll, have signings to open and then we'll have installations for those signings.
Now, of course exhibitors want to get IMAX systems in their theaters. It's just as beneficial for them as it is for IMAX. Currently, only 1% of all screens in the world are IMAX branded, but they often account for a larger percentage of a movie's box office return. Even more exclusive, they're 70mm projector screens. There are currently 40 theaters in the world that support IMAX 70mm films, and only 25 in the US. Places like Miami, Boston, and Seattle don't even have one, but Buford, Georgia does?
Why does Buford, Georgia get?
One of the original, IMAX theaters in the 1990s.
They were early to the game.
Obviously, people want to watch movies in IMAX 70mm, so why doesn't IMAX just build more?
We only have so many film systems in the world. There's only so many film movies, 70mm film movies released. Each year.
Which is what makes the fact that Christopher Nolan shot the entirety of The Odyssey in IMAX 70mm such a big deal. There's also a production issue at play here. IMAX hasn't made a new film projector in over 50 years. A lot of the parts needed to build a new film projector don't exist anymore, and IMAX no longer has the blueprints to build it from scratch. But with demand so high, IMAX is looking for alternatives, including tracking down broken and abandoned projectors and salvaging its parts to refurbish and install new ones. In the meantime, IMAX is gearing up to meet the demand from the camera side, after The Odyssey proved shooting an entire film with IMAX cameras could be done.
So it was a multi-year program where we first decided that we wanted to make the new camera up until actually putting it in a director's hands. Because along that process, we also needed to decide for ourselves, what does that new camera need to be? So that entire process was a couple of years long before we had the camera out on set.
And you have two of the new cameras, right? The Keeleys?
Four. Yeah, we have 4.
You have 4, right? I'm making scenarios up. Christopher Nolan says, I want to shoot my next film, I need 6 of these. How long would it take you guys from now getting the request of like, I need 2 more to actually having it in his?
I mean, I would say a couple of months. There is some bespoke machining that has to happen there, but we've now done this multiple times and we know how to do it again. So if the call comes to build more cameras, that's one of the things that my team has been kind of laser focused on is we know we're never going to build 1,000 of these, but if one of them gets run over by a tank or we need more, we are in the ability now where we can build more.
IMAX's job doesn't end when it puts its cameras in the director's hands.
Mike Hintermeister is one of our advanced camera techs. So Mike is one of, I would say, 3 people on the planet right now that know how to build an IMAX camera. He's been with IMAX through the thick and the thin and everything, and the new cameras and the new movements are really coming through Mike's hands and as well as somebody else's hands. So if the cameras go out, they are mechanical devices. So one of the things that this department really takes care of is cameras go out, they shoot 1 million feet of film, just like your car going out and 1 million kilometers. You've got to lube oil filter, you got to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it is such an advanced component, you can't just pluck somebody off the street to be able to fix it.
You need a
so
mic.
This is where we need someone who's kind of, the whole camera team really deals with all that. So this is really like the F1 pit crew, essentially. Yes. If a camera goes down, the production essentially stops. So this is where
they call
it's really,
Simon jumps on a plane.
We've got a red phone somewhere under here, but that's the red phone that starts to light up and we pick it up and set it out. That's right. You'd be shocked how reliable that the cameras actually are when you talk about doing something like shooting 1 million feet of film through it over a couple of months.
They even have a 24/7 control system called NOC that can troubleshoot up to 95% of issues remotely, which is huge as IMAX continues to grow its foothold in Hollywood.
Okay, so I just finished watching The Odyssey in IMAX 70mm, and I'm left wondering, with a product like that, what could possibly go wrong for IMAX? Well, like most companies, the economy. Right now, an IMAX ticket is a premium. It costs roughly 30 to 50% more than a regular ticket. And every time I open the news, there's something about how discretionary spending is down. But IMAX doesn't seem to be too concerned about it.
I think from a fan's point of view, when you hear IMAX, you know it's going to be a premium experience. You know, the movie that's going to be shown the way the filmmakers want it to be shown.
Some chains are reportedly alarmed by the growing presence of IMAX in Hollywood advertising. So much that chains like Cinemark, Regal, and Marcus have reportedly held talks about jointly marketing their big screen theaters to blunt the growing influence of IMAX. So yes, in case you didn't know, there are other premium movie experiences besides IMAX, but IMAX dominates the market and doesn't seem to think they're much of a threat.
Because in today's world, everyone's demanding premium experiences, right? And there's more and more people going to the theaters demanding premium experiences. So to have a PLF with an IMAX in the same complex makes a lot of sense because we have spillover. There's competitors out there, et cetera, but again, not that end-to-end, ecosystem that we have. And again, think about it, when you have 2 blockbusters coming in a weekend, right? And again, I don't know which one, but when you had Project Hail Mary, they could play Project Hail Mary on IMAX and fill that house, and they could play the second blockbuster on their PLF or their other, another competitor screen. So again, I think we work very well together. I mean, there's always going to be risks throughout a relationship, but I mean, nothing is ever major.
IMAX is also betting that the demand for premium large formats will continue to grow, and that its partners/competitors will also see the growth in their business. And that growth could catapult IMAX's value as they reportedly look for a sale, which IMAX wouldn't comment on. For now, things seem to be going IMAX's way, and I continue to enjoy spending $35 for the best movie-going experience ever.
Thumbnails now. I know. All right.
Oh, you slated for us?
Did I slide? Faster.